pray and we can listen to you. However, we are going to do it in our own way as we are in Kenya, Africa.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Dear Christians, peace and blessings be upon you. I would like to first and foremost thank the organizers of this event. That will go a long way in improving this discussion about mental health. Inshallah, I will make a prayer for all of us. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Malik Yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim. Sirata alladhina an'amta alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Amin. O Allah, most merciful, most compassionate, the guider of all mankind, we thank you for this day that you have made us to see. We thank you for giving us the blessings of life for us to be here. We thank you and we pray for your guidance throughout this conference, throughout this session. May you shower us with blessings, O Allah. Shukran. Amen.
Let's continue with the Christian prayer. Yahweh Elohim, in the name of your Son, Yeshua HaMashiach, we thank you and we bless you. We pray that as we start this forum and proceed each and every step, you shall guide us, you shall lead us, you shall help us to have wisdom and knowledge so that we can be able to handle the issue of mental health in different ways for different organizations. Every key person who shall do presentation, enable them that they may communicate well with confidence and courage, so that by the end of this summit, we are not just going back home with papers and notes, but we are going back home with skills and the right mindset so that we can transform our society. In the mighty name of Yeshua HaMashiach, we believe and pray. Amen. Thank you very much. I'd like to appreciate all of you for coming today, those who are in this hotel. Also like to appreciate all the others who are watching us from different countries. A lot of research has been done about tropical diseases, different kind of health challenges globally. But the big question is this: when it comes to mental health, has much been invested to do a lot of research that men and women might be able to discover? Today, when you talk about health, which is not just an absence of physical ailment alone, you realize that different continents, different parts of the world, there are different kind of health-related challenges. But when you come to mental health, there's a lot of dynamics and diversity, which this forum for the next 2 days through Toto Africa, on our second summit, we are going to have a quality time to understand the dynamics. Because we don't have a tropical mental health disease, but we have a global phenomenon on this aspect. I'd like to thank all of you for honoring our invitation to be here so that we can have time to learn from each other from different perspectives on this one particular challenge. Before we do that, I'd like us to have a national anthem for Kenya and East Africa. Then I'll be calling Madam Tina to come and give us our welcome speech. Can we arise as we give our national anthem? Thank you. I'm not seeing the East Africa. Kindly, can we have our seats? My name is Collins Bolo. Today, I'll be coming in and out as the MC. And I appreciate being in this forum today. At this point, I'd like to call Madam Tina, who is the CEO of Toto Africa, to just come and give us a welcome speech and also officially invite us for this forum. Can we put our hands together as we invite the CEO of Toto Africa in this forum?
Thank you, Collins. Hello. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone again. Thank you so much for coming, honoring our invite. It's a big pleasure to have you all here. Some of you have traveled wide, and thank you for coming. Toto Africa, my name is Akelo Tieno. I'm the founding director of Toto Africa. Toto Africa began in 2017, and our main focus is children, youths, and young mothers. We use rugby as a tool to empower. The way we tackle it in the field, we tackle it in our everyday life. I believe some of us have maybe played the game rugby. In rugby, there's always tackling. So we've borrowed the concept whereby we tackle in the field and we bring our tackling. There is no food, how do we tackle that? There is no sanitary towels, how do we tackle that? So those are the questions we keep asking every day, and we come up with solutions for our beneficiaries. Why we are here is because of Afro-Asia Summit. Afro-Asia Summit began in last year, 2020, whereby it was launched officially, virtually. This is because we had planned a physical one, but because of COVID, last year we all know we were going through a pandemic, so we could not do it physically. Our first summit was on menstrual health and management, which was quite a success. We had around 45 speakers from around 24 countries. It began after I went to Korea, and I joined a group, a feminism group, whereby we developed sisterhood from with different women who are from different Asia countries and African countries. So we came up with something that can join. It was especially meant for women, whereby we join together and do something that impact positively in the community where we serve or where we live. And so we came up with the name that Afro-Asia, that is Africa and Asia continent. So we sit down normally every year, and then we discuss what is really affecting us that we need to tackle, we need to develop more policy on, and how do we go about it. Asia is a safe place whereby we say there's nothing wrong and nothing right, but it's bring in your ideas and so that we can all help in tackling it. Toto Africa is inviting all the participants from all over the world officially now, both the hybrid and the physical. Welcome, share your ideas, share your expertise, network, because the linkages are important. You cannot do it alone, one organization. Toto Africa cannot handle the whole of Mombasa or the whole of Kenya. Just like Nyamat in India cannot handle the whole India or Delhi. So we are coming in together and we are meeting organization. Good people like Karomboku, good people like Amin Abdallah, and to work together, Lilian Okeyo, and all the ones I'm not mentioning, so that we can work together, come up with better ways. How do we help the children? How do we help the youth? And how do we help each other? Mental health is, can I call it the current monster that we have refused to accept? We are saying it is not existing. That is because of culture and because of religion. We keep saying that you cannot be depressed. You cannot go through mental health because you're supposed to be strong. If you're a man, you're supposed to be strong. If you're a woman, what is stressing you? either it is money, but normal depression, anxiety, we've not really accepted it as Africans. And I believe also that goes the same to Asia continent, especially India. We are using India as a case study. So today we are here, professionals, academicians, and students, and those who are in the field, psychologists. Let us all try to eat this meat together. I believe we'll all have new ideas of how to help each other. This summit is declared open henceforth now. Thank you, everyone, and you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Tina. That was very good and well elaborated.
Hello. First, before I sit, I'd like to invite Karomboko. Karomboko is ambassador of Toto Africa, and she's going to talk about Toto Africa in depth so that we all understand how Toto Africa and Afro-Asia come into play. Karomboko, karibu.
Good morning. Good morning. Oh, you can all hear me. Karibuni sana. My name is Caroline Mboku, and I am the ambassador for Toto Africa. When I stand here, you're seeing the Totos of Toto Africa. For the Africans, I know, for the Kenyans, I know you understand what we mean when we say Toto. For the sake of our friends from Asia, Toto means child. So here at Toto Africa, we care for the children. And so I'm just going to tell us briefly who we are. Toto Africa is a registered NGO. NGO is a non-governmental organization. We are based here in Mombasa. And we are committed to nurture and empower holistically children, youth, and women in distress. Most of the beneficiaries who come to Toto Africa are children from families that are not able. And so they come to Toto Africa. We are not a children's home. So what we do, we just give them a safe space. They come, they play, they do homework, and we mentor them, then they go back home. What are our thematic areas? These are the things that we do at Toto Africa. We have health awareness sessions where we talk matters mental health, like what we're doing today. We also deal with nutrition, meal programs. As I said, most of these children come from families that are not well off, and so most of them don't even afford food. So when they come to Toto Africa, we always ensure that there is food. And most of them will come and say that they do not want to go home, they do not want to eat because their brothers and sisters back home do not have food. And so we also have programs where we give them food and give them something else to take back home to share with their loved ones. We have menstrual health and hygiene. Here we teach them, especially the girls, on how to take care of themselves during their menses. And we also provide the necessary menstrual instruments, the menstrual cups, and pads for them to use. Then under health, we also tackle HIV and AIDS and sexual rights and health, where we teach them about my body, my rights, you know. Then our second thematic area is education. We help those who are not able to pay school fees to go to school. And every year, in fact, right now, I know Tina has students that she needs to take to high school. And so we always try to get donors so that these children are in school. So we do that through scholarships and through career guidance. Sometimes, most of them, after finishing high school, we also have a sitting with them where we take them through careers. We also have career talks where different people are called from different careers to help these children so as to select a good career choice. And I can see the room is full. I hope the next time we are having a career talk, you guys will be present, because this is a room that is having different professionals. Then we also teach them computer literacy and basic legal education. I am in charge of that sector. Then we have technical and empowering for livelihood generation. Here we teach them about beadwork, soap making, mat making, business management, and serving, and beauty. As I said, we are not only dealing with the children, but we are also dealing with young mothers. These are youths who have children. And so when they come to Toto Africa, we help them by teaching them how to do these things so that they are able to get money from selling them. Then we have sports, and this is our forte, where we teach the children through rugby. Who are our target beneficiaries? Our target beneficiaries are the adolescents and young mothers aged between 16 to 25 years. We have community men and women. These are the people who will, now the people who are parents to these children. And we have elderly care, that is men above 50, they're also in need. And then we have boys to men. These are the boys between 15 to 22 years. Sometimes you realize that much as you are 18, which is the legal adult age in Kenya, it does not necessarily mean that you are independent. So most of the boys that come for this category are people who are in high school, or maybe you started school late. So at 22, you are still in high school or you're in college. So they fall under this category. And then we have the primary beneficiaries. These are the children between 6 to 21 years. So far, we have 70 primary beneficiaries. These are the children that are directly under our care. And then we have 30 young mothers and adolescents. And we have 15 elderly people that we take care of. Our special projects, we have Tackle It. As Tina had indicated before, we use rugby to impact knowledge to these children. So be it a girl or a boy, once you come to Toto Africa, we use Tackle It. Tackle It is a term in rugby. And so when we say tackle it, we are meaning we are empowering you to tackle life. And so every Saturday they come, they go to the field, we play rugby, and thereafter these other programs can be done. Then Living a Legacy, under this program, we look at mentorship. This is where men talk to men, and girls talk to and the women talk to the girls. And apart from that, we also have professionals coming to talk to these children under that. Then we have Wonder Girl. Now this is the program that is for the young mothers, where we teach them beadwork, soap making, and just how to do life. Then there is Boys to Men. This program, we have it every once a year. I do not know, this year I don't think we had it. Probably we'll have it in the beginning of the year. where we just take these boys somewhere with professionals, and they have nyama choma, and they just talk boy stuff. Then we have community and capacity building with various groups of the communities in our thematic areas, and that is where you as professionals come in. So how can you help us create an impact and change? We are looking for partnerships and alliances. I know most of you come from different organizations, and in all these organizations, I know there's CSR. And so if you know of any organization that has a big heart for children and rugby and women and young women, kindly bring them our way. Then we also need volunteers. You can volunteer your time and skills towards any of our projects. And the fact that we have these projects does not necessarily mean that we cannot have new projects. So feel free, you are welcome. Come to Toto Africa. I am sure we can discuss and come up with something and see where you can fit in. It could be your time. It could be your time. It could be your finances. It could be anything. Then grants. As we said, most of these children, we are paying for them school fees because they're coming from families that are not well able. So if you are in a position to support a child or give shopping or whatever, or just help us to reach out to these organizations that give grants. Same to sponsoring a program. Perhaps in some of the programs that I've mentioned, you feel like there's a place where you might fit. Feel welcome to join us, especially the part where we are talking about food. As we know, last month we were talking about drought in Kenya, and so there's no food, and these children are back home. So feel free to join us and help us put food on their table. And then you can also donate towards assets. Right now, the premises where we are paying rent. And so if you know of anyone who is willing to host us for free or at a cheaper rate than what we are paying right now, or you have building materials, or you have a way in which you can just help us support us, or lead us to the right direction, we will be happy. And so thank you so much. And even as we're talking mental health, kindly remember Toto Africa. Thank you.
Check. Thank you so much for that very elaborate about Toto Africa. Once again, we welcome you. My name is Jimmy. I work for Initiative for Children, Women and Youth Development, ICWID. We are partnering together with Toto Africa for this summit. We started last year. We did virtually, and this is the second one, and so beautiful that at least for this now we can be able to meet physically and discuss the issue together. Now, I'll be moderating on the way as we continue. I know we're having some visitors who are also coming, some panelists who are also coming. People will be speaking here, and I will be giving you some few minutes to speak. Of course, in our during the invitation and during the preparations, there are some who are asked, who submitted the papers for the for publication purpose of it out of this. So I believe most of you are here. We'll be able to call you up and you'll be able to speak to us or share your experiences, the challenges, some good things, so that at least we can have some learning lessons from you. Okay? So at this juncture, I would like to call upon someone. But before I call him, before I call her, I think we should just have a little bit of what she has done and the milestone that she's worked on until where she is right now. So Dr. Alice A. Anika is a senior lecturer at Pwani University, Kilifi, Kenya, in School of Education, Department of Education, Psychology, and special needs. She received BEd Linguistic, MEd Education, Educational Psychology, and PhD Educational Psychology and Counseling from Kenyatta University. She has a wide background in counseling, psychology, higher diploma and certificate from Kenya Professional Counseling Association, KPCA. She is a certified British Association of Counseling and Psychotherapy, BSCP, with counseling tutor based in UK. She's also certified HIV/AIDS and gender-based practitioners from GIZ Academy and NASCOP Kenya. Dr. Anika has a wide knowledge of experience in various international and local project management, mentorship programs, and psychosocial support programs. She also has training in research, ethics, and evaluation with Clinical Trials Center, University of Hong Kong, and University of KwaZulu-Natal, in conjunction with KEMRI Wellcome Trust Kenya. She has done a lot of publications in international peer-reviewed journals and a member of the editorial board in the SAGE Journal Publication, Research and Scientific Innovation Society, RSIS. Dr. Anika is a professional member of the American Psychological Association, APA, Kenya Counseling Professional Association, the Kenya Universities Professional Counselors Association, KUPCA, and the Kenya Guidance Counseling Psychologist Association, KGCPA, of which she serves members as the university representative. Is a champion of mental health. She is a founder, coordinator of AIDS Control Unit, ACU, at Pwani University, which saw the establishment of the university counseling units, peer educators, and peer counselors. On the research, psychology, education, counseling, behavioral science, mental health, early childhood development, special needs, HIV diseases, epidemiological impact on human behavior, emotional self-concept, personality dynamics and gender. So ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause as we welcome Dr. Anika to speak to us on the theme that we're having this year, and that is on mental health. Dr. Anika, let's put our hands together as we welcome Dr. Anika. You can just continue clapping until she reaches here.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. How are you? Are you fine? Some people are very busy on their phones as usual. Let's be happy. Are you happy? I'm always keen on running my eyes across the classroom. And that gives me contact with each one of you, because each one of you here is very, very special, isn't it? You are very special to be here. So as you have been told, my name is Dr. Anika, and I'm at Pwani University. Some of you I know we've met in one way or another. As you know, this is our field. My task in Toto Africa Summit was to look at the Afro-Asia mental health context in the 21st century. This is a new paradigm shift, but not new in as far as mental health is concerned. So in the Afro-Asiatic mental health paradigm, this is a new thinking. It's a gap that has not has not been explored. And therefore, we must recommend Toto Africa to think about this particular approach. Otherwise, mental health has been an issue that we talk about most of the time from time immemorial. Mental health has been based on our way of life. Therefore, it is our culture. It is within our relationship, our roots, our belonging. Okay. Yeah, now at least you can remove that one. I don't need it. Okay. Yeah, so I'm saying that mental health has been based on our way of life, our culture, our relationship, our roots, our belonging, ourselves, our identity, and those things that make us unique as individuals and as a nation, a people, and that is what upholds our peace in our day-to-day life operations. And that is what binds us together. If not that is, then what is mental health? However, the paradigm shift today in mental health of the 21st century seems to threaten our core fabrics of our social cultural values, philosophies, and morals of the good and bad in both great giants continents of Afro-Asia context. This context breeds mental illness and mental health burden world over. There are various studies that have explored the area of mental health. Al-Daheri in 2021 explored evaluation, a cross-sectional study on the effects of COVID-19 on mental health among the nationals of Middle East and North Africa. In this study, it is known as MENA. Those who have done research in this area are quite familiar with it. What Al-Dahir did was to sample almost 6,142 participants, out of which the males were 32.7% and 67.3% respectively. The demographic characteristics that were looked into in this particular study included age, marriage, educational background, and socioeconomic status. What is so phenomenal about this particular result was that COVID-19 had a detrimental effect on the majority of individuals' mental health, especially the children, which Toto Africa is covering. The strategies that were put in place to cover this particular phenomenon, the virus, unfortunately, had negative impact on the people who fell victims. It was meant to alleviate, but it negated the efforts. That is mental health. The research concluded that there is great detrimental effect on mental health, and this affects the psychological well-being of adult population. Another study, which was also done by Zhang in 2022, Zhang specifically looked at the Chinese way of treating mental health, and their focus was mainly on the therapies and the medical systems of handling mental health. And the study mainly focused on the therapies that helps in massaging, diet, herbal medicine through acupuncture. And that has helped the world of Korea, the world of Hong Kong, and the world of China when we are looking at the Afro-Asia context. Then Jamal et al. Of 2020 also was given opportunity by WHO to look at a study, and the focus was on the collective culture coming together as opposed to individualistic culture in as far as cohesion is concerned. His finding was that those who migrate to other places, carry along with their cultures. And therefore, the 21st century context has a lot of interaction, cohesion. And when that happens, again, mental health problems is breeding in that aspect. So you find that those societies that are individualistic and less affected with the foreign influences have less mental health, as opposed to the 21st century context where we are talking of the global village. We wanted global village so that we can talk to each other, but on the other hand, it has all its own problems on mental health. Again, in the same context, during the South African time of apartheid, Zamkange, in 1988, as expounded by Stanley in 1980, brought about the humanity, okay, and the humanism, which we all know, if you're familiar with the mental health element, the Ubuntuism. Why do I bring this context? Because we are talking about the Africa-Asiatic context. What did the Samanke focus on, and his proposal and his assertion? That to be human is to affirm one's humanity by recognizing the humanity of others, and on that basis establish respectful human relations with them. So you realize you are not alone. You cannot live in isolation, but with others. If and when one is faced with decision between wealth and human life, then we should go for human life. Because in human life is where we have the mental health, and that is who we are. To those who are in leadership, the kings, the prince, the who and who are supposed to be in leadership, that leadership is given to you by our people. So he championed that principle deeply embedded in traditional African political philosophy, because we are a people. In the African mental health paradigm, then we realize that the Afro-Asian region is home to a large and diverse population. When it is a home to a large and diverse population, then we realize that it carries religious beliefs, it carries rich diversity. This rich diversity, again, makes it difficult to ensure that mental health is accessed to each and every individual completely the way it is supposed to be. It is the African Asian cultural context that upholds this. Afro-Asian region is also home to many conflicts and political instability. With that note, without mentioning, you know very well of the coup d'etats that we used to have. Thank God to the East African conventions and the African. There's a new thinking on mental health that has dawned to the leaders of Africa and Asian, to the leaders who have worked so hard. The late Honorable Mandela, you remember them. The late leaders, Samora Machel, the great leaders, you know, even in Kenya. I'm sure that our late, the founder, President Kenyatta, championed this. Many leaders that you know. Today, the coup d'etat that we used to have left and right has gone down. We are today championing peace. Our former president, Uhuru Kenyatta, just had a peace talk and negotiation here. And our leaders are coming together. When you watch their move, we are so happy that our president, the current president, Dr. William Ruto, you can see them together in the photos, that even the former prime minister is in the cohort, and our former president is already doing negotiation. That alone we need to appreciate. Can't we clap for them? Because when they are doing that, then we put down our conflicts, and that is what mental health is all about. So we see things like the bomb blast, the terrorism still here with us, Radicalization, we lose children every day to these things, and our youth, and many other issues that we see across the board. In the African mental health paradigm is highly relevant to global mental health in a world where mental illness is on the rise every day. When mental illness is on the rise, then we know something that happens: discrimination and stigma. In China, mental illness is often seen as an imbalance of yin and yang. And treatment in this aspect often involves acupuncture and herbal medicine. Why are they doing this? Because they recognize that mental illness is something they can deal with within their fabrics and context of their culture. In India, we have Ayurvedic medicine, which is often used to treat mental illness. And the treatment is focused on the mind, body, and spirit. Psychologists and scientists focus on this. The mind, the body, and the spirit, they all work together. Every day your mind tells me, do I do this? Don't I do this? And you make informed decision. Yoga and meditation are often used to treat mental illness. This is beautiful from the Asian world. In Japan, mental health is often viewed as a state of balance treatment, often involves therapy, medication, and lifestyle changes. In Korea, mental health is often seen as a struggle between good and evil. And you can't blame them that when you are sick, something is behind it. Okay? That is within their culture. So treatment often involves shamanism. Have you heard of it? Shamanism? Maybe you have. Google and check. Possession and exorcism. Mental health is therefore an important issue across the two important continents. So mental illness sometimes is seen as a weakness. When we are in the African context, why should you be having mental illness? You see, from the African setup, the society was made in a manner that people woke up, they went daily to their duties, the children went to play, the master went to chamber, and the fathers, the homekeepers, knew their duties. They brought food, they protected the families, and they were the people who were decision makers. And then everything was just quiet. If there was any mental illness, it was a concern for the whole village. But if you had it in a manner that there's depression, the things we have today, that is a great abomination. The society, the community must be cleansed. A goat must be killed. Things must be done. Celebration must be done. That is the African context that has always evolved over time. The 21st century context, what is your thought? In the 21st century context, those things are archaic. Those things are evil. Those things are non-existence. Those things are, and so why do we have mental health? Is it that we don't know? Is it that we don't understand our African context and Asian? The Asian medicine alternative approach? Is it that we don't understand? So food for thought there. So the Afro-Asian countries often have almost similar context. When I look at the two continents in the African, Asiatic mental health across the board, there seems to be mental illnesses, mental health issues that is rising every day. And why does it seem to rise? Because both continents experiences disasters. Armed conflicts are all the time on the increase. Economic crisis, especially in the northern Africa. You see, in Kenya, you see what happens. Lamu is hard hit, okay? And that is expounded by Newhart et al. Of 2020. There are several reasons why mental health disorders is phenomenon and common in the Afro-Asian context. What could be some of the reasons? Poverty, inequality in these continents. These are major factors that really go down in handling mental health issues. And therefore, these households most of the time are isolated. Financial stress, poor housing, nutrition. Even these children are actually isolated completely and even hidden. They can't even access. Another issue that we also see, the health system. The health system in the two continents is weak. Accessibility to just get and discuss with someone mental health, it seems to be a problem. Then stigma and discrimination, which I talked about, is one big element. The boys are not supposed to cry. You know that in the African context. It is not any less in the Asian, because the men lead. In the 21st century context, what happens to the man? What is happening to the boy child? Total Africa is focused on the children, and they have categorized. The ambassador categorized the various categories of children they focus on. What is happening to the boy child? Today we know that upholding families is a problem to the boy child. And even when they retire, what happens? What happens to fathers? What has happened? There's something that is wrong. The 21st century context with mental health. And when that happens, and they're the breadwinners, then the family is collapsing. Then the mother takes a position, and the mother is struggling. And you know that not all community within the households are able to have gone to school, that economically they are able to support this context. Then the children want to go to school. Then we have the Hustler Fund. It was launched yesterday. So you can actually evaluate. So the paradigm consists of 4 main components: the culture, the family, the community, and the individual. Culture, it's because of the values, the beliefs, the norms, the groupings, the African, the Asiatic, and that is what holds this community together. The family, nobody comes from a roof, nobody comes from a tree, nobody is cut or found just from the road. The 21st century context, people are displaced. People are on the streets. People, where are people living? Today we are in this summit talking about mental health internationally. Where are people? In the Asian community, they are more enclosed in the nuclear. They are so together, they don't break. And even when they happen to move away, the fabric of the family and the extended family is still together. Maybe that approach is better. The only problem is the incest issue. What happens when you put people together? Do they have their mind to think that now, this is my sister, this is my brother? When do you stop? Where is your moral values in this? But it is the approach, and that would really work for us. The traditional healing rituals is still in the context of the Afro-Asiatic similarity. Both continents are still engrossed in that, and we cannot run away from that. Okay? African societies tend to have more tolerance attitude towards mentally ill people, and they are often seen as having special insights and abilities. In Asia, on the other hand, mental health is understood in more biomedical terms. That's why they have the treatment in as far as the acupuncture is concerned, the yoga. Look at their way of treatment, the counseling, the massaging, and all that. So we must recognize the different approaches of the two great continents' practices in as far as mental health is concerned. Continental fronts in mental health trajectory looks at influx of people from other continents. It also looks at people from different cultures. It impacts the mental health on people in this region in various diversities. There is a growing body of evidence that suggests that how people are coming from different cultures and are interacting with one another. And that is rich, significantly rich, but at the same time, it is a breeding point for mental health issues. So the diversity in the two continents provides opportunity for the wider range of mental health services across the board in the 21st century context. There are various efforts that are being done, and as far as mental health is concerned, we must recognize at every point there are conventions. WHO is doing a lot of work in as far as the mental health issue is concerned. It is the talk today, especially just since the COVID issue came in. We realize that people are just in depression, suicidal tendency, isolation. You know, one time I happened to be communicating in a WhatsApp, then somebody got in touch with me. And when he called, I was like, this is strange, but I picked. And when I picked, I realized this is a young teenage from JKUAT and is in isolation. And I was concerned that I just wanted to talk to you. I Googled your name and I found who you are. I need someone to talk to. And I asked, where are you? And he said, I'm in Eldoret. And so, whom are you with? I'm alone. Why are you alone? My father rented a house for me. And where is your father? I don't know where he is. And where is your mother? They separated. Why can't you stay with your father? He doesn't want to. He doesn't want me around him. Can you see how gross? How it really bombs you? You are really bombarded with that. And there are several. That is the situation we are looking at. A lot of trainings is really going on. The Ministry of Health is doing a lot of good. The Psychological Associations Board is also working so hard. The other day, the Parliament passed, and the TSC, that the schools are going to have counselors. The parents are talking every day on how their children can be helped. The root is the schools, the churches, both Muslim and Christians. Once we can move towards that, then we are good. In conclusion, I say, every person needs to be in a state of mental health when they are aware of their abilities. It doesn't matter how small, how big, how medium you do it, but every day we need to wake up and go about our duties. As long as we are able to do our everyday operations professionally, and when I say professionally, it does not mean we who are at the PhD, permanent head damage level. No. Everybody is a professional in their own way. That small that you are doing is really, really good. And we need to learn to appreciate. Because if someone has not given you tea and you couldn't make it, even water, as long as we are able to do what we can do fruitfully, professionally, then we are able to give back to the community. Community is community because we are who we are. Despite the difficulties, there is cause for optimism. There is hope. We who are seated here in Total African Summit shows that there is hope because we are talking about mental health. The importance of mental health is being recognized more and more, and Afro-Asian nations are taking action to address this every day. It is feasible to improve the mental health and general well-being of people in Afro-Asian nations with persistent effort. We need to persist. What do I recommend in this summit? In the Afro-Asian mental health 21st century context, We need to increase awareness of mental health. We talk about it, yes, but many Afro-Asiatic community members are not aware of it. So if we have to move and reduce the risk, then we have to avail education. Education is knowledge, and anyone who has knowledge, then we have empowered that person. So we increase that level, and then we will do better. We need to improve mental health. As usual, the services. Access to our hospital. Access to, that is what we need to, so that we reduce the barrier. We also need to improve the cultural competent people. We are African-based and culturally based in our own way, in our community. So we have our ways that we used to use to handle this issue. Why don't we also think about that and support them? Then the NGO world, the small organizations such as Total Africa, and as they grow up to the international level, they need to be supported because they are the people who are at the grassroots with people. Those who are, and I say here, wherever you have connection to some big giant somewhere with grants, Ambassador has mentioned about grants. They cannot do much even holding this conference if they are not supported. And these particular organizations are the ones that talk. So wherever you are, come together, as you have come today, to promote these small CBOs, the NGOs that are talking about mental health, then everything will go down to the grassroots. Policies that support Afro-Asia mental health is lacking. That's a gap. That's why we are into this century. We need to think about that and come up with policies that can propel the mental health in these particular areas. Then we are who we are because our social support. I've given you an example of a child who is isolated somewhere. What about an adult? They think and think, they go into depression, they think of suicidal tendencies, and psychosis comes in, and psychosocial issues is prominently coming in. We have psychosomatic conditions, and the psychosomatic conditions find people in a situation where they are restless, they don't know what to do, they don't know how to go about it. We need to think of this support. And lastly, because I'm a scholar coming from the university and research is paramount because it informs us of what we need to do. Work with us all the time. The doors are opened, and that's why university is there. We are ready to support at any time so that we can work together with the organizations that you have. Thank you so much for hosting this Total Africa. Thank you, members, for listening to me.
Thank you so much. Round of applause again for her. And I will not say that the PhD stands for permanent head. You can see clearly and you can experience clearly that she's having a very brilliant head, yeah? So her head is not damaged. Okay? So thank you so much. Let me recognize the partners who are partnering with us this year. And if I mention your organizations or maybe your company, kindly just wave to me, okay? Anybody from Base Titanium? Representative, yeah. Just a clap for him, please. Someone from Amity? Not now, later. Someone, yes. Someone from Amity University, they are online. Nyamata, I think. Someone is there from Amity University, okay? And who else do we have there? ICWID, of course, I'm here. Clap for me. We have S. I can't see that properly. Yes, we have S. Oh, Thank you. Yes. S Plastic Surgery, they're here. Clap for them. Thank you so much. We have Pwani University. Yes, she just come. Thank you so much. We have Pure Pearl Foundation. My friend is there. And good to see you. Good to see you, my brother. We've been meeting in other platforms. Happy to see you. And of course, we have Mombasa Intercontinental, who is hosting us. There's no representative here, but we are in their building. We clap for them. On point. They are online. They are with us online. And then we have some. I'm coming for this. So there is someone. Timmy can't come and help me here. I can't read this. And your eyes are like my eyes. Can you read for me this one? Indigenous clothes. They're also here. I knew why I was doing that. Okay. And of course, we have SOS with us, SOS Children's Village. Yeah. Thank you so much, SOS, for you guys honoring this. We really appreciate you so much for this. We have Christ Temple Community Church. Christ Temple Community Church. Collins. Okay. And then who else I've not mentioned and you're here, you can just raise. Yes? USIU. Can you clap for them? Representative from USIU. Thank you so much. And I believe, and of course, individuals who just come here, individuals who have come to grace this occasion. And of course, we are having our international partners also who are joining us online. Nyamat, I think you will introduce your people later on after the break. We'll give you some time to introduce some people. And of course, we are having a consul from Uganda, a representative, of course. Karibu bwana. Karibu nyumbani bwana. Uko nyumbani? Yes. Okay, now at this juncture, I would like us to take a break. We go for tea. And then we will come back. And when we come back, I will call Madam Hamisa Zaja to come and speak with us immediately after we are through with our tea break. I would like to apologize. We started a little bit late, so we'll move on so fast and so quickly. So please, if you're coming here to do a presentation, kindly, I know you can tell us more and you have done your research and you have a lot to tell us about mental illness or mental health. But kindly just shorten it a little bit so that at least we'll be able to give enough time for each and every one of us. So kindly, please, you can break for tea. It is served just outside here. Something that I've not also said that we have, the washrooms are just on your way. If you go out on your left, they're just there. You'll just see them. So kindly, we will give you like 10 minutes to do the tea break, and then we'll come back immediately after 10 minutes, we'll be back. Thank you so much. Clap for me. Thank you. I believe that all of us are almost through with our tea. 10 minutes are over. So if you can try to hurry up a little bit, but make sure that you're not choked, yeah? Nyamat, can you hear me? You hear me clearly? Yeah? Okay, Nyamat, we can hear you clearly, and Tasmin, we can, yeah, I can hear you clearly. That's good. And your other team members, please. Can, okay. Yes. We will play it. I have it. We'll play it. Yes, I have the video. We'll play the video. Okay. Yes. Yes, they're hearing you. Yes, you're well audible. There's another. Oh, okay. We will do that. Yes. Yes. Thank you. So, are we all settled down, please? It's okay. It's okay, Samit. I would like us to settle down. If you're still outside, kindly come in as we settle down. And those who are still having a cup of tea, just try to finish up, but make sure that it doesn't choke you up, please. Yeah. Once again, you're very much welcome. Thank you so much for those who just joined us now. And tumetembelewa pia na serikali. The government is here with us. So before we continue, I would like to call upon our ACC to come and actually say a word. Pamela Akinyi to come and share something with us from the government point of view. Can we clap for her, please, as she comes?
Thank you very much. I'm waiting to get somebody's attention. You're here? Okay. As my name has been mentioned, I'm Pamela Akinye Makabongo. I'm the Assistant County Commissioner, Bamburi Division. I want to say that I am very happy that we are here. I hope you're happy too. If you're happy, we are told Mombasa is Raha, so give me a Mombasa smile. I want to confirm there is a smile in every face. That is a Mombasa smile. The reason we are here is very specific. And it is something that not only affects the children, because I see the summit has been organized by Toto Africa, but it affects even adults because it begins from childhood. Not 2 days have passed since a lady came to the office. She was complaining that somebody had told her she was a witch. This lady is somebody who sells viazi in the community. And now the women in the community are telling their children not to buy viazi from this lady. They are telling their children not to go to this lady. And the children of this lady are isolated. If you are a child to somebody who is being alleged to be a witch, how will you grow in that society? Hello? How do you grow in that society? You'll find that you're isolated from childhood, in adulthood, and not only that, even the livelihood of your parent is affected because people have been told to keep away. Nobody would want to be kept away from the others because a human being is a social person. These are the reasons that we have even high cases of suicide in our society today. It does not begin in adulthood. It begins in childhood when you feel you're neglected and you cannot socialize with others. This event also comes at a very critical moment globally. We are having the 16 days of gender activism. Yesterday, the Chief Justice was in Shanzu, launching the first sexual and gender-based violence court. And I was very happy when one of the speakers, Lady Justice Jokin Jongo, mentioned that some of us do not understand what is happening to us, especially in childhood. Because when you're 10 years and below, you're not in a position to understand that your rights are being violated or that even a conversation is not appropriate. When you grow up to be a young adult or a lady, and then you start having social relationships with the opposite sex, and then later on you find out that whatever you are to experience had been done to you in childhood, then you began getting traumatized. You find that we blame breaking up to people who are careless in their relationship, yet they have psychological disturbances that were not healed in their childhood. So I know I'm here just to invite you and to welcome you to Bamburi, Kisauni Sub-County to be specific, where we also have very many young children who are getting to marriages without knowing where the next meal will come from. So you find that we are raising a malnourished society. This malnourished society is what brings all the blame games, because you cannot concentrate even in class to attain the right marks now that we are doing the examination. When you're hungry and when your mental capacity is not ready to absorb what you're being taught. So I want us to have a moment of silence for everyone who has been violated in childhood and is even affecting their marriages. It's also affecting their adulthood. It's affecting their status in the society. As we have the silence, let us think of the individual capacity that we have in order to help the survivors of isolation and even the survivors of torture and the survivors of gender violence. Thank you very much. I take this opportunity to welcome you, to make you feel at home. And because I'm the host, I was supposed to invite the others. I want to adopt the protocols that were mentioned, because I know that other speakers have already spoken. And I want us to take these 2 days with great depth of introspection to understand how best we can change this society. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, madam, for welcoming us. Now we are safe. We are very safe here. Serikali ya sasema, sindio? So we are very safe here. So I would like to call upon the Ugandan consulate to come and please say something and tell us something. Round of applause as he comes to say, these are brothers from Uganda.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Protocols observed. I'm called Shauka Moses. I'm a diplomat representing Uganda here in Kenya. We have a mission. It's called Uganda Consulate General in Mombasa. We also have a High Commission in Nairobi. The difference is that a consulate has a specific representation or interest, and to this effect, the consulate is here to specifically have interest in trade, investment, and tourism at the coastal region. But also, to get a clip on why we are here, we also have consular services. Consular services specifically look at the distressed Ugandans, people who have challenges in staying in Kenya or Ugandans. And also we cooperate with the Kenyan administration, immigration, police, and to mention, to ensure that our citizens in this coastal region have a decent stay. I take this opportunity to thank all of you who have put their minds together to come and feel the pain that our colleagues go through who have the mental challenge. Before I talk much, our Consul General, Ambassador Paul Mukumbia, would wish to have been here in person, but this event came when at the same time we are organizing tourism event between Kenya Coast and Uganda. We had a complementary arrangement to ensure that the tourists who come to Africa don't dock at Mombasa or at the coast and stop it there. We thought it wise that they can get the experience inside Africa in the hinterland, so that we can have a complementarity approach to increase on the volumes of the tourists. So he's in Uganda. He took coastal Kenya tour operators there to go and experience the gorillas, the mountains, the Nile, and to mention, to ensure that when we are partnering as Kenya and Uganda, we have a uniform package. Otherwise, he would wish to be here. He's very supportive in this event. I am very sure that the next one, he will practically be here and he will support in all ways. That one I guarantee you. I'm responsible for public diplomacy and investment and consular services. I have a serious experience with one of your partners who is here, who will give testimony of what we are capable of doing. We have done this, what you're doing before. Stand up, you two partners. These two partners there, I request that when the time comes, you give them an opportunity to take you through what they do. They are a very powerful organization. They have an organization which has kick-started. It has a permanent home in Miritini. Their testimony will summarize whatever I was supposed to say. Otherwise, I wish you all the best, and may the Almighty God give us all the knowledge and answers to all the unanswered questions. Karibu Mombasa, Karibu Kenya. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I think we are the one to tell you Karibu Mombasa, Karibu Kenya. And you're welcoming yourself. Okay, that's so good, and that's wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now, the lady I'm just about to introduce here, she's very powerful. She has a very wide bio, which if I start now reading, it will take me like 2 hours before I finish reading the bio. So kindly allow me to welcome Madam Hamisa Zaja to come and grace this occasion. Round of applause for her as she comes, please. Thank you. Yes. She has so many titles. I cannot even mention all of them. You're welcome.
Hamjambo. Good morning, or is it afternoon because it's too hot? As they said, my name is Hamisa Zaja, and I'm so happy to have given this opportunity and to speak after two countries, the government of Kenya and the government of Uganda. So look at me as East Africa, not Hamisa. I would like to speak about mental health, but in regards to persons living with disabilities. And I would want us to start from parents. Parents of famously known as PWDs, or persons with disabilities. Mental health for us begins from childhood. When I talk about parents, I mean when you go to the hospital, you're pregnant, you've carried your pregnancy for 9 months, and you are now tummy, you are due. You go to the hospital and you give birth. after giving birth, 3 hours later, you look at the doctors, the nurses, they look confused. And you don't know what's happening. And you hear some words like, do you want to see your baby? Would you want to see your baby? Do you know what you have given birth to? Do you know that whatever you have given birth to is a garbage? This kind of a baby won't be able to move. You prepared mentally that this is a baby that you would take care the rest of your life. Or sometimes even you hear, the kind of baby you have given birth to would not live to see 10 years or 20 years. Or even, would you want us to assist you so that you do away with this baby? Or maybe even the mother who has gone to the hospital is a woman with a disability. Then you hear doctors, nurses, at the reception, at the desk. They would ask you, know what happened? Didn't you even feel pity for yourself? Who is this man? Who did this to you? Do you feel like you'll be able to take good care of this kid? Or do you want us to help you? So this is where the beginning of mental health for us begins. You will live to remember that I was once told this is not a baby. You'll live to remember that I'm less a woman. If I went to the hospital and everyone had questions for me to give birth, then I'm less. I'll either keep thinking I'm less a woman, or I'll keep thinking I'm less a being. So I'll grow. I'll grow to know that I'm less, whether a baby or a parent. And I live to hear and to know that I am less, because I'll keep on hearing that the mother will be told, didn't we tell you that this one won't be helpful to you? Maybe other mothers want to go for merry-go-rounds, the groups we have, but my mother wouldn't be able to because they would want to take good care of me. And they'll be told, we told you, you won't be participating in anything because of this thing. Because of this baby. Because we knew you cannot handle a child. Because you have a disability. So from childhood, you grow knowing that the society has already created you that you cannot. You won't be able to. Then it comes to school, because every child goes to school. Then we have special units. Then we have special schools. Then we also have rehabilitation centers. And once you visit or you start attending school, same things happen. Sometimes even our teachers are mistaken for mental ill teachers because they have grown to take good care of us, teach us, but again, we are mixed up. Some of us can't speak, some of us can't hear, and they also grow as they grow us with that behavior. So you tend to see also our teachers growing into a toxic community where also they are mistaken to be disabled people. So they also live with stigma of which they are not sure. And this is where you find sometimes as a child you annoy a parent or you annoy a teacher. That they come with what they have been told. See, I was told that you're going to be this much. See, someone had warned me so that I can stop giving birth to you. You see, the society had already told me that will be a baggage. So you grow from parents, then you come to teachers. Then as you turn into adults, things even get worse. You go through school, get your papers, see an advert, apply. Then when you go for an interview, someone comes with your CV. Say, ni wewe huyu? Are you the one? Does this CV belong to you? Is this you? Are you able? We need people to report here at 8. Will you be able to? What do you say to yourself? I can't. I can't. And you grow like, I can't. And when you grow like that, you feel bitter. I know many of you have heard this statement. Do not engage the disabled people. They are too bitter. Have you heard of that? Because they have grown to be neglected. It has psychologically affected them, emotional tortured them. That you can't, you will not be able to. Then the issue of mental health, there's no inclusion. Because no one cares about how this group of people feel. We actually tend to think that that is normal. Even when you tell someone, don't step, I'm coming to carry you. we think it's sympathy, isn't it? We think this is how it should be. We think if I invite them, it will be very difficult for them. But we don't want to think if they don't come and raise their voices, no one else will speak on their behalf because they are the wearer of the shoe. So when someone reaches adulthood and you're a mother, you're a father, or you're a disabled person who had gone to marry an able-bodied woman, or you're a woman who has gotten to be married by an able-bodied husband. Someone comes and tells you openly, do you know what? You will need to be injected Depo-Provera. We must put you into the plan, family planning tablets, so that you do not give birth to something of this sort. We don't want any child of this kind in our family. We don't want to spare the rest of our lives to be taking care of you. And it comes out very, very clearly. But we don't think that we have tortured this person. We don't think. We think because they are disabled, we can rule their lives. They do not have any other right apart from being supported, being helped, and being controlled over their lives. Then what happens if you want to give birth? You will need to get out of that marriage. Whether you are the father or you are a mother. But no one cares. No one talks like, I'll do therapy, or I'll cancel, or we need to talk, or is there any experience? Maybe somewhere, somehow, someone has given birth and they're disabled and they don't give birth to this kind of kid. We tend to imagine that these things do not kill. We tend to imagine that this is how it is. And this is how we are going to live with them. And someone would stand and say, hey, do you know you're not capable of helping us? You can't. You're not going to add any value. Maybe they'd accept it and smile. But deep down when they are alone, they say, hey, so this is me. I can't help anybody. So I live to be helped. So when those people who are helping me die, what do I do? Oh, they are no longer around. What do I do? Who is going to help me? So finally, you have a lot of suicide. We have a lot with those people who we have gone to school with those people whom we have lived with. And they tend to say,
okay, even if I die, he's going to cry even, because I would have removed a baggage from them. Because I would have gone and leave them alone. That's mental health. That's mental health from birth to growing up until you become an adult. I would recommend inclusion. Inclusion from organizations, inclusion from corporates, inclusion from government, inclusion everywhere, so that we have a toxic free of mental health for persons living with disabilities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Hamisa. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And a round of applause again for her. Having stand for. Yes, that. Actually, that is what I wanted to say. But it's a good one. Thank you so much, Madam. As you all understand and you're aware that we are not only here in Kenya, Mombasa, we are also in Asia. And we also have some of our colleagues who will also be doing some presentations. Like Tasnim. Tasnim, are you ready with your presentation? Yes, we can hear you. We'll give you some few minutes, not long enough, just some few minutes so that at least you're able to speak to us. Thank you so much. Then the floor is yours. Okay, Nyamat, we hear you. Can you see the people? Can you see the audience now?
take for example that in many countries it's okay to eat with your left hand. But in countries like Middle East, we as Muslims really prefer to eat with our right hand. They feel, oh, why is he eating with his left hand? Why? Because that's the hand that you use for different things. If you're standing 2 feet away from somebody in a different culture, it's commendable, it's respectable. But in countries like Indian and Middle East, if you're standing, if you're talking to each other, and if you're standing 2 feet apart, you're actually being disrespectful. And if you feel disrespectful, and if you don't get that attention, it hampers you somewhere in your mind. This is what mental illness is starting to grow in your brain when culture defines you. So it is very essential to be multicultural, or to accept everyone culturally, and then understand that this is his nature and behavior. This is not an intentional task to you. Culture can either be source of your strength or your stress for an individual. For me, my culture is my strength. But again, it is shaped by the experiences you have met in surrounding to your culture. What kind of exposure you have had in the world that you are staying. And the understanding of one's self towards the world. Let's take, for example, if you belong to a group of people speaking the same language and you dislike the group due to some reason. This can lead to feeling of isolation and anxiety when you're surrounded by them. You're talking to me because you understand the language, right? So if you belong to a group of speaking the same language, try to get amalgamated to them. It's not like you have to be defined to a culture. You just need to be in there, accept what their thoughts are, and take it ahead with yourself. It's not something bounded to you only. Because culture has its own style and an individual has his own. Some culture promotes importance of community, whereas some promotes, no, you need to be individual in this sense. And growing strengths together, when the community is together, they grow strengths together. But sometimes individuals like it much alone. Most of the culture always promotes togetherness. But sometimes it is not that everybody would like to be in with. I have also researched into this, and studies have shown that people who follow a culture that promotes individualism are at a higher risk of depression. So if you are belonging to a culture that promotes a lot of individualism, they do not do things together, like meeting in a circle and having events together, culturally, where you feel defined, where you meet people who are always together. But anxiety issues are expressed differently in different cultures. So let's take, for example, if I am an Indian and I am a Muslim, when I feel anxiety, I feel my heart rate is pumping, or I feel my hands are cold. But somewhere in other countries, let's take, for example, US, when they are feeling anxiety, we have usually studied that their words for expressing the anxiety is fear. So the words change according to the culture. Mental problems are also diagnosed as, you can say, spiritual issues. They don't believe in mental illness. They believe that this illness can be eradicated with the help of spirituality, which can be true in some aspects, but a diagnosis is mandatory. And then on that basis, we can have participation. Culture has major influence on how we think about ourselves, how we tag and treat mental illness, how much help we seek, and how do you feel about when you're seeking help. So if, let's say, for example, if in my family, everybody has this issue of they're not able to communicate with others. I would like to tell about something that I spiritually and culturally believe in. So I belong to a community known as has imbibed in my mind have been to this conference and if I would have seen a delicacy that is from my culture, I would have got a relief that, oh my God, this is here, I couldn't expect this. The etiquettes that we follow, the way of greeting, the way of eating, has a lot of scientific theories attached to it, the way we eat. Even the presentation of our house that we feel is very much impact as a society. If I go to another one's house and their settings seem like mine, I feel very homely. I would feel calm. I would feel cozy. I would feel attached to that person. The etiquettes that we have at the lunch or dinner, eating meals together, these are the aspects that culture imbibes in you. I am very proud of my culture, to be very true, and I'm very sure everybody present there is proud of their culture. Always a culture takes you one step ahead unless and until you are having a lot of difficulty. So that's the end of my talk. Thank you everyone for hearing me. It means a lot to speak and express my views in front of you all. It's such a great topic near to my heart, culture and mental health. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tasneem. Thank you. That was very, very good. Yeah. Thank you so much. And you know, your culture is so interesting. You should ask me why.
I really want to speak more, but I have a time constraint and I would really like to adhere it so that I can listen to others as well.
Yes, you eat a lot of spices in your culture.
Yeah, we do.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank
Okay.
you very much. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Please stay for the play round, please.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, Nyamata, I'm moving on to another presenter. So just hold on a little bit. I'll bring you back again later. Round of applause again for Tasmin, please. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So our next, we are trying to catch up with time. We started very late, so please just allow us. Ukiona tunaenda haraka kidogo, tafadhali just be patient with us, okay? Thank you so much. So our next presenter is a man of God. I can call him a man of God because he loves God so much. Mr. Gideon Banda is a husband to Joy. And they have 3 boys. So I have like 4 JJ here. Yes? There is Joy, there is Jotham, there is Joshua, and there is Jason. But his name is the only one name that starts with G, Gideon. So I don't know why. Okay. So since 2007, after his graduation from Scott Christian University, Gideon has served in various capacities in the church and academy. Gideon left this last assignment as executive pastor of Crossroads Fellowship in 2020 to launch Renewal Project Africa, that is RPA. The mission of RPA is to transform and empower communities through the planting and establishing and multiplying of holistically missional churches in gospel scarce, marginalized places in Africa. The vision of RPA is to set up renewal mission centers all across Africa. Gideon is passionate about the gospel of the kingdom and its implications for holistic mission. He holds a Bachelor of Theology, a Master of Biblical Studies, a Doctor of Apologetics, and is currently pursuing a Master of Arts in Development. Gideon is also a chaplain of the University of Nairobi, that is Mombasa campus. Kindly allow me to welcome this man to come and speak to us and tell us something about mental health and the experiences. Thank you so much. Welcome.
Well, I feel extremely fortunate to have the privilege to speak to you. I feel like I'm in a room of people that bring a lot of experience and a lot of learnings from the different disciplines. And it's just an honor for me. I wish I could be here for the 2 days and experience everything. But it just happens that our team is on its way to our annual retreat. So my mindset actually is quite retreated. I have to bring it back into a conference mode. And you can imagine as soon as I get to Watamu in the next 2 hours or so, I'll be looking different. No official attire, looking forward to that. But in the meantime, what an important subject. And I was happy to oblige to attend because this is urgent in our times. It is something we face everywhere with students, with people in the urban, people in the rural places, everywhere. Everyone is thinking mental health, and that's critical. It makes up a big section of who we are as people. And I was asked to talk about religion and mental health. The scope has to be very limited because of the amount of time I was given, so I'll keep it really, really short. I know that when you heard that I was a preacher, you must have thought, oh my goodness, here we go. We're going to hear a long sermon because pastors have a bad reputation